watch whose views or you will be eradicated.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Whose Views. And as you can see, we are here kicking off. Look at Paul with his Doctor Who and the Daleks book. We are here kicking off our Dalek film season. You are very, very welcome. Nice to see you. That's a big book there, Paul, isn't it?
It's most exciting. That's all I can say.
As you can see, everybody, I am joined by Paul. I'm joined by Third Doctor Ian. I am joined by Kirsty, or as we now know her, Sparkplug. And I'm delighted to say joining us for this is Pete, my mate Pete down here as well. Pete, welcome back to Whose Views. It's lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too. Thank you for having me.
You are very, very welcome. And of course, we are going to be talking tonight about the legend, and I am going to use that word legend, the one and only Peter Cushing. And this is going to be great, actually, everybody, because between Paul and Pete, I think this is going to be a real fan geeky fest, because I reckon get your pencil and your paper ready now, because there's going to be an awful lot of films you may not have seen that you may want to, I think, during this show. So I've got my pen and paper ready as well. So yeah, here because Pete, of course, is one of our experts as well on the Hammer horror films and the horror genre and all this. So between him and Paul, I think this is going to be cracking. So thank you, everybody, for joining us in the chat. We want to know about your favourite Peter Cushing moments as well, your favourite films. Everybody get involved as usual. So where to start? Where to start, everybody? I tell you, let's start with a little bit of a resume about the man himself, shall we? Here we go. So yes, Peter Wilton Cushing, OBE, was born on the 26th of May, 1913 in Surrey, England, here in the UK. He made his stage debut, everybody, in 1935, and this led to over 6 decades in the acting profession, with appearances in over 100 films, as well, of course, as television, stage, and radio roles. Best recognised, of course, for his many leading performances in the Hammer production films, but also Sherlock Holmes, Grand Moff Tarkin, and, of course, as Doctor Who in the 2 Dalek films in the 60s. But yeah, it's not the Doctor Who films we're really going to be talking about today. That's coming up later on in these series. But yeah, so where to start? God, goodness me. What a career this man had, everybody.
Yes.
He has had a fantastic career. And it's funny you said about when he started his career. And one of his interesting early jobs was a chump at Oxford with Laurel and Hardy. And a tiny part of that as a student. Worth looking out for if you're a Laurel and Hardy fan. A chump at Oxford, 1940.
And there he is there. Can you see? Yeah. We've put his name just over the top there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in itself. That's not what you think of at all. When you think Peter Cushing, you do think, whoa, you know, don't you? But Laurel and Hardy. And he had that lovely comedic side to him. How wonderful.
He has got a great comic side, and he's done many, many things. He's obviously well known for horror, but he's done lots of different things, which we'll get to as the show progresses.
Absolutely. Hello to everybody that's watching us in the chat. Yes, Pete's here saying, as Winston Smith, fantastic. Yeah. Excuse me, Matt, the Silent Wee Music King. Well, you must. For those of you who are listening, he said he's never watched the Cushing movies. Well, you must. As part of her education, Sparkplug down there, Kirsty, she's started though. Listen, if you don't know what I'm talking about with Sparkplug, go and watch our brand new show that we launched yesterday. It's called Who's Master, our brand new quiz show. You'll see why we call him a Sparkplug.
Can we shorten it to Sparky? That'd be quite good.
Blue Worm is with us, everybody, and he's saying Cushing always made every movie he was in better. He never gave the less than 100%. Now that's true, isn't it, Pete?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it was his versatility as an actor, you know, and he could turn his hand to anything. And I think that is evident in all his performances, in which he played, a variety of different roles and different characters.
Mm.
But he always definitely made an impression, I would say.
Yeah. So listen, Pete, I'm going to ask you, where did you first come across Peter Cushing?
Well, my mum, God bless her, I mean, she's departed now, but she did encourage me for my passion about horror films, and she felt that in some way it was an education because it helped with my vocabulary at school. So it was a bit of a departure from the Beano, and she would buy me some horror magazines, and one of them was The House of Hammer. And I happened to spot that in a newsagent in 1978. And I had a bit of an obsession with the Greek mythology at the time.
Yeah.
And that particular issue had the Gorgon on the cover. Or it had a feature on the Gorgon, and it had a comic strip adaptation of the Gorgon, the Hammer film, which has Peter Cushing in.
Ah.
And I ended up getting the magazine after desperately pleading my mum, it was essential that I had to have this. Please, the Gorgon's in it, that kind of won my case. And I got the magazine and devoured it that night, absolutely obsessed. But I'd misread the credits as Peter Crushing. And I kept saying that all night. My mum was correcting me and going, "No, it's Peter Cushing. It's Cushing." And I went, "How is it not spelled like a cushion, like on your sofa?" And I said, "No, it's Crushing." I was thinking, I must have mixed up Bobby Crush, who was a famous pianist at the time.
There's a name.
Or something like that. I don't know. And then I realised my mistake. And that was how I became... That was my introduction to Peter Cushing and Hammer, actually. Because Hammer was a new thing for me, but yet my mum was able to tell me, "Oh, yeah, Hammer horror." So she was showing off. And then after that, the rest is history.
There you go.
Hooked on horror.
To this very day as well, everybody.
That's it. And they said it was a phase. The doctor said it would pass.
They always say that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about him. He'll grow out of it. He'll grow out of it. 40 years later.
Yeah,
Hi.
We all get that as fans, don't we? They'll grow out of it, especially back then in our day as well. Oh, this Doctor Who thing, they'll grow out of it. Yeah, right, please. Look at this bloody room now. Yeah. I want to say hello to everybody that's joining us into the chat. Gemma, it's nice to see you. Hello. Thank you for joining us. We've also got Silver Dalek saying, Brides of Dracula is wonderful. Now, this is on the list that Pete wants to look at. So we'll be getting to that soon, Silver Dalek. So, yeah, keep going. He was in a sci-fi film called Biggles.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the Biggles I'm thinking of?
Mm-hmm.
Really? With the leather jacket and the goggles?
Yeah.
That was his last film. It was made in the 80s. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't remember that one, but that's interesting. Okay. And I want to say a big hello to John Mason, who's just lost his Who's Views virginity and is joining us. Hello there, John. Nice to see you. Glad you found us and everything's all right there. Thank you. Hello to Dada. And Doug is saying Peter Cushing was my doctor. That's nice, isn't it? That's not often you actually hear any of that.
No.
Lex is here with us as well. Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing were great double act. We've got some great stuff about them coming on in this, I'm sure. And Pete's saying to us, that's the end of the Dracula film. The curtain's bit, no spoilers. Scared the bejesus out of me as a kid. Poor Christopher Lee. See, this is what I mean, you guys. You know all this better than I do, because I was more sci-fi than horror. And I didn't really get into all the horror stuff. So looking at what Paul and Pete have said about this tonight, I was like, oh, look at all this. I'm going to have to buy all these DVDs because I'm now beginning to appreciate them, Pete.
Yeah. And so you should. Definitely essential viewing, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Hello to Garbage is in the chat as well. Making sure everybody's fine in the chat. Doctor, not doctor. Cushing, not cushion.
Yeah. He was still very
That was a
comfortable with
mistake
his
I made.
yeah.
Yeah.
And let's say hello to Atom as well. Hope everything's all right with you. It's lovely to see you, mate. Nice to see you. Hail chat, long live the fighters. Peter Cushing was a fantastic actor. Actually, a great doctor. It's actually Doctor Who, isn't it? We've got to get that ready. And a staple and high bar when it comes to Horton and sci-fi. A fantastic actor. Prestige comes to... Oh, now, Prestige comes to mind, says Atom there. I can't agree with that more. And it's like somebody else was just saying there, everything he did was just beautiful, committed performance, wasn't it? It was absolutely brilliant.
Definitely. Touch of class, really.
Yeah.
You know, it brought a kind of gravitas to something that was maybe otherwise hokum, I suppose, you know.
Well, it made things believable, didn't he? What's that thing I've seen with the big ants?
What one's that?
The big ants.
The big ants, where he gets into he goes up to, I can't remember what it's called now. That guy from Warlord from Atlantis, and
Doug McClure.
Yes, that's it. That's the name. Yeah.
Oh, right.
I mean, that's a load of poo.
Almost Doctor Who movie. That one is. Yeah.
I mean, it was very, very much like in the style of Doctor Who in that film.
Yeah. Well, he is, isn't he? Really, he plays the same sort of character.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Deidre is saying he's a big fan of Cushing and Horror Express and the Hound of the Baskervilles. So let's get on to some of the films you wanted to talk about, Pete. No particular order here. Oh, and I just want to say as well, just before I forget, in the title sequence there, we did include some pictures from Daryl Joyce. Daryl, huge thank you for your pictures. We are going to be looking at some more as part of this show, so stay with us, because Daryl has sent us some of his art when it comes to the Peter Cushing films. They're stunning. Stay tuned. We're going to be showing them very, very soon. So, what's this? Horror Express Monsters? We're British.
Yeah, we're British, you know. That's one of the lines in the film. But it's not a Hammer film, that one, but Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee are in it.
Is Telly Savalas in that one as well?
Yes, he is. He's a contact.
Wow, brilliant. I saw the poster for that.
Film, really good film.
Well, talking about the films, let's get through a lot. And I'm looking forward to what you, Pete, I want to say this, and also Paul as well, because he'll know all these as well. But we'll start with this one. So what got you about this? The Curse of Frankenstein.
Yeah, I was only allowed to watch part of this. It was on one of remember the BBC 2 horror double bills?
Oh, I do indeed, yes. Yeah.
In the 70s. Well, that was on, I think it was 1978, possibly. And I was only allowed to watch so much of it, but I was absolutely fascinated by what I saw. And I just sat there and I took everything in. And I mean, that was really the start of it for Cushing and Hammer, really. You know, that paved the way for everything that came about later. Yeah, because that was before Dracula, before Horror of Dracula.
That's the American title, isn't it, Peter? Isn't it?
American title, US.
Yeah, it's just called Dracula in UK, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that was the one that got the ball rolling, as it were. Yeah, and that was very special.
So this is the first. Am I right? This is the first horror, as it were, Hammer House of horror.
That was the first. That was the first breakthrough Hammer horror film. Actual full-on horror. Yep. So that was the first opportunity that audiences got to see the version of Frankenstein that had never really been seen before, complete with, you know, the graphics, the gore, the blood, you know, and blood red, you know, for the first time, and it terrified the life out of people.
Yeah.
You know, made a massive impact. So it's
as we said, I think on a horror show. Sorry to interrupt you, Peter. As we said in a horror show a while back, one of the things about Hammer wasn't just the gore, which wasn't compared to nowadays is nothing, but the music, the really frightening music.
It heightened everything.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It heightened the on-screen proceedings enormously, I felt, and everybody else was really roused by it, you know, because it was so emphatic and at key points in the film that just really heightened the tension. Very dramatic, but very effective.
Mm. It's interesting what you're saying there, Paul, as well about and people about these films here, because if we look at that again, this was Certificate X. Now, back in the day, a Certificate X meant you had to be over 18 at least, didn't you? See this? This was a warning to say no, this is not ever for children, and that's something that I think was a hangover in my younger days as well, when I would say, oh, there's going to be a Hammer House coming on the television or something. And I was told, no, you can't watch that as a little boy. Because my parents and my family would have grown up with all this. No, that's a Certificate X. It's not suitable for the kids. But, it's tame now in comparison to what you get now. There's no real blood and gore in this at all, is there?
I had a great story. I don't know if Peter's heard this. And I think I saw it recently in a documentary on Talking Pictures TV about Hammer and Peter Cushing. And apparently the Hammer Studios used to fight with the censor to make sure it got an X, because if they didn't get an X put bums on seats, basically, because it made it sound more gory and exciting than perhaps at certain points it actually was. So I think on one occasion they had to fight with the censor to get an X, pushed up to X from PG or 15 or whatever, to make sure it had that X quality to get people to come and see it, to make it more exciting. Apparently.
That's right.
So you see,
up the ante.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Well, they were ahead of their time then, were they? The Dr. and Ian and Kirsty, they were actually ahead of that, because now we do that. It's called hype.
Yeah.
So actually, Batman in 1989 wasn't original in any way, sense, or form with its marketing plan. It was actually Hammer House.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
Well, I guess so.
Wow.
William Castle had his gimmicks as well in the 60s, American, but that was that again, to get bums in seats. I'm going off at a tangent there.
Well, no, that's fine. Tangents are good on this show. We are expert. Silver Dalek is saying James Bernard. What a composer.
Yeah, James Bernard. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, James Bernard.
Bernard, yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant composer. That was him. He was responsible for a lot of the scores. And especially the Dracula score is memorable because it was like the notes off the name. Dracula, it had
Well, we can't do that, can we? We're not allowed to do that.
We're not. Well, no, let's just do it very quickly.
Only a few bars.
Sing another song. Sorry.
Oh, so that's weird, because that's what John Williams did for Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Superman the movie.
Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness! I'm already, you viewers, learning stuff.
You need to watch it now.
Well, we kind of touched on Dracula a little bit, and I think Peter Harrington said something about the curtains being pulled down, and the music at that point. Spoilers if you've not seen it, but Dracula, Van Helsing wins. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so at the end of it, it's a great scene, and Peter will know this as well, particularly when Peter Cushing jumps on the table, runs along the table, pulls the curtains down, and then grabs two candlesticks and makes them the shape of a cross. And then the sunlight and the cross does all the damage to Dracula, and that's how it ends. It's a great moment, and the build up to that with the soundtrack is amazing, fantastic moment.
It is really powerful. Yeah, and he forces them into the sunlight and the streaming through the window, perfectly done. I mean, brilliantly
the effects
lit.
are superb for 58. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. He did a lot of. Mr. Cushing did a lot of films tied around Frankenstein and Dracula and stuff. And one of the ones you wanted me to show this is one that was actually mentioned in the chat just there. Was this? It was The Brides of Dracula. So is this the one you're talking about here?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that film. It's so classy. Really beautiful looking film as well. Very handsome production values.
Really?
Great cast. Yeah, it's really powerful. There's no Dracula as such in it.
Oh.
So there's no Christopher
Just the
Lee.
missus.
Well, there is a missus in it, yes, I suppose, but it's Baron Meinster and his mum, Baroness Meinster. But yeah, it's a superb film, really, really well done. And
is this from the same film then? This picture?
Yeah.
No, I think is it?
I think that I'm looking at the scarf. It could be.
I'm just wondering, is that George Woodbridge with him, the Indigo Pipkin? Remember him? I think that's him.
It could be. That could be the original, actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so how many? Yeah. He played. So he played the same character then, did he? Or was it a different version of the character that he played?
No, it would be Dr. Van Helsing, except for the later ones, where he was a descendant of Van Helsing.
Right.
Like is he in Dracula AD 72?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
That comes in, Satanic Rites and AD 72. That's right, Paul.
Right. I'm really impressed with everybody's knowledge here as well, apart from you two in the chat. Everybody's really, I've got Ian, Curse. We have to really gen up on all this stuff, I tell you, because this is brilliant. And this is what the point this is. It's to appreciate Peter Cushing leading up to his role where we come in for Doctor Who.
He always brings a huge amount to every film. That's been said already.
Yeah.
And even when he has like a small role, like much later on in Star Wars, where he was in one film, and there's been so much since, but people still remember Tarkin. But I mean, you're talking about Brides of Dracula there, and I remember that film. I've seen it a few times. You know, the Saturday night double bills. Yeah, absolutely, they were a staple for me growing up.
Oh, how fab!
I'm a huge fan of radio comedy Hancock's Half Hour.
Yeah.
And I know in that film it had Andre Melly, who was in series 2 and 3 of Hancock. So I know Andre Melly a lot from there, but I knew she was also in that film as well. So it's just another reason why I remember that one specifically. But
wow.
She made a really fetching female vampire in that film.
Oh, she really did.
Spoiler alert, sorry.
So what you're saying, she's not a vampire at the start, Peter, is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh man,
sorry.
I can tell I'm going to be spending some money here.
Vampire though, yeah. You would be saying, "Go on, bite me, I don't care."
Really. Blue Worm is saying to us here, Chris Lee talks about whining about filming conditions on the Horror Express. Cushing replied, well, there's no good belly aching about it, you know, which apparently was as severe as Cushing ever got. Oh, bless him. Yeah, because we've heard all these stories that he was an absolute supreme gentleman.
Yeah.
He was, yeah. I mean, he was one of those as well. He kept himself to himself. You know, I mean, he used to have laughs with him and Christopher Lee. They got on well, you know, offset. But he was quite a reserved man. He was a reserved guy.
Well, that's a great picture. Lovely picture.
That is a lovely picture there, isn't it? Of three legends, you know.
And Vincent Price in the middle there. Lovely. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it is wonderful. Because these two did several films together, though, as well, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I have an interesting fact about these two and wonder whether you've heard this. I'm sure Peter has. That they were great fans of Looney Tunes, you know, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, and used to love enjoying all that kind of cartoon fun. And I think they used to do impressions with each other and do Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny, have a laugh together on the set, which sounds fantastic. It really does.
I could just see that with Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
About to loom over Peter Cushing as Dracula. Goes, the wrong sort of teeth. Oh, I bet the outtakes would have been fabulous. They must have had some fun doing these films together, weren't they? But they were brilliant. And just on the theme, as soon as we mentioned him, look at this one from the later days of Mr. Cushing's life. Look at that when they were together there. It's a famous picture, but it's beautiful. Isn't it beautiful?
Very endearing. Yeah,
absolutely.
I love the way, even off duty, he wears his bow tie like Sherlock Holmes. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point there. I mean, people's just saying this as well, wasn't he? I mean, he was a very private man but that's how they were back then, wasn't it? They went to work and they went home. They didn't really, in those days, well, not all of them, but certainly not this. They weren't too fussed on the big dramas that you get with people today, where they weren't after it. It was their work. It was their job. Yes, they would go to the odd awards ceremony or they'd go and do a chat show or something, but that was part of their job as well. They weren't hungry for fame. That's what I'm trying to say. Totally different world, wasn't it? Totally different class.
You're right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. They were thespians. We don't get that anymore. It's one of the last greats that they just want to do it for the job and the love instead of watching the Oscars and the slightly off of you, a facial expression. Now everyone just moans about it. They just went in, got their job done, and just enjoyed it for the craft. And we don't really have.
Absolutely.
I couldn't imagine Peter Cushing wearing a kind of metal kind of breastplate thing. I can't see that. No.
Yeah. Very classy, very strong, masculine, like just going through the job and none of this. kind of having to dance around metal plates and having the odd expression that everyone thinks and it's now a news item. Yeah, we don't have many of those people left anymore, like great thespians. So yeah,
we don't really. I mean, they are down, and of course, no social media, so they didn't. They were classy in the fact that we waited for their films. We didn't know anything about them, and that's how it was. We didn't have any of this tabloid journalism around. I mean, how wonderful! So that's why I think the legends like Peter Cushing, Mr. Lee, it's going to live on. Yes, because we don't know anything about them. They are, in fact, an enigma, really, aren't they? It's fantastic. Oh, I've got a question for you two here, Pete. From Pete, how many films did Peter and Christopher do together?
22, I believe.
Wow,
that's a lot.
I think I'm sure. Yeah,
wow.
Pretty sure.
So
about 22.
To all the current lot acting out there, take note. How many films did they churn out a year, by the way, for nothing of the money you lot are getting? So shut up and get on with it. That's what I say.
That's very true.
What I used to love about the movies was the fact that you could redress Ray Studios every other film, and it was almost the same location, just about, wasn't it? And they just redress it brilliantly, and you wouldn't know it was the same place at all. It was really cleverly done.
I know it was. I mean, amazing on the budgets. What they managed to accomplish. It really was what they pulled off, because I mean the sets. I mean, you look at a film like The Mummy, made by Hammer, 1959, and wow, I mean that is one stunning looking film, and it it really belies its low budget.
And they didn't need CGI.
No,
it was all done
practical
by
effects all the way. Yeah,
imagination, creativity.
Yeah.
That's the way to my heart with films, instead of all the CGI. If you need it, do it. But yeah, people forget nowadays that the things at the bottom of their arms to make.
No, it's true though, isn't it? Yeah,
it becomes like a video game you're watching.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? When you go back and look at all these beautiful things from back in the day, your eyes are not being tricked that much, and if you know what I mean, it's actually real. The sets are real. The stairs up there are not green screen. That's a real set that somebody built. They're acting on this set. I love all that sort of stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. Dada is telling us here as well. Did you know Peter Cushing did a rave song? It was called No White Peaks.
That's right. He did.
I didn't know that. My goodness.
Yeah. That's one that a lot of people want to forget about.
So we'll
check that later. I've not heard that one. Let's have a look at that. Yeah.
We'll take that off. And joining us now in the chat, everybody, is Daryl himself. We are going to be showing some of Daryl's fantastic artwork that he's given us on loan very, very soon. Abused Arthur Grimsdyke gets his revenge so effectively in Tales from the Crypt. It's one of his best, and also great in another Amicus film, From Beyond the Grave, playing the shopkeeper.
Yeah, those two are in those pictures that I submitted.
All right, so which one we look From Beyond the Grave? Let's go to Beyond the Grave, which is
From Beyond the Grave. Yeah.
Now that actually is a real spooky one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And that's even before he serves anyone.
Oh,
yeah, really good film. Yeah,
so
that's
he's in a toy shop.
Sorry,
he's in a toy shop.
No, it's an antique shop in the East End of London.
Oh, that's really scary on both counts.
Yeah, and it's one of the Amicus omnibus films. The portmanteau. It's made up of different stories.
Right.
And anybody who nicks anything from his shop or changes the price to a price that is lower than the original is going to regret it, shall we say.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yep.
I love the fact people went to the cinema to see all these things. You can't really imagine it today because of television and DVD and Blu-ray and all this, really. But, sometimes, do you not find that sometimes you put these things on, whether you're downloading it or Blu-ray or whatever, and people went to the cinema to see this. It's just amazing, isn't it? Really, these were huge hits.
Yeah, and I'm using it as it's kind of like comfort food for me. Watching these films, especially a film like that that's got an all-star cast. I mean, you've got Ian Ogilvy, in it. You've
Oh,
got
wow,
Ian
okay.
Bannon, you've got Diana Dors,
Wow.
you've
We
got
love Diana Dors.
David Warner. Absolutely outstanding cast, really is.
Yeah.
You've got Donald Pleasance and his daughter together in one of the episodes. Absolutely, that episode in particular is unforgettable. It has got one of the most jaw-dropping endings in it that I have ever seen in my life.
Oh.
You are absolutely gobsmacked from beyond the grave when you see it.
Okay. So that's getting added to the list there. All right, who viewers? How many have you got? I've got 4 at the moment, plus everything else we've got.
You'll never see this ending coming in your puff.
I love this. I'm just seeing all of a master just telling us some great movies to watch.
I was going to say, Peter, there are lots of films like this, these kind of portmanteau films. One of my favourite ones is Dr. Terror's House of Horror. That's an Amicus film as well, isn't it?
Yep.
And
that
that's
was right.
that,
and that precedes the Doctor Who films. Yeah.
And Roy Castle, who's in Doctor the Daleks, is in one of the segments. He's in the segment about voodoo, which is interesting.
Yes.
Voodoo.
Voodoo. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's on the list as well. I can just see you writing it down there.
This show is going to end up costing a lot of money, I think, when it comes to actually going on to the shops. Oh no, let's not do it. What was the other one that was mentioned there? Because you had
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt. Okay, again, we've got that. Now that's this one with a great poster, which is so 70s. It's unbelievable. Is this from the 70s?
Absolutely. Yeah, 72. Mm-hmm.
You can tell from just that poster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's he playing in this? What's this one about?
Oh, I mean, that in that episode, he's a bullied. He's just a poor man who is kind and looks after toys for children, mends them, repairs them. Is very friendly, but unfortunately, his presence in the neighbourhood clashes with this pompous, conceited, proud neighbour.
Yeah.
He feels that he just doesn't belong in the neighbourhood because he's run the place down, because he's so dowdy, he's quite poor and impoverished, and he just wants some kind of out the way. And the way he does it is just completely unforgivable, what he does to him. It's a very, very moving performance from Peter Cushing. So bring your hankies with you because it's really sad.
Oh, wow. I mean, I was going to say, even that picture, you can see there a completely different side to Cushing, can't you? His body language is different, the way he's performing there, the way he's made himself up. The costume helps, of course. But that is not the Peter Cushing. I wouldn't have known that was Peter Cushing if I'd passed that in a book or something like that. Because it does suggest to me this is a completely different performance that he's giving there. What a great picture that is.
It's so poignant, and honestly, it would bring tears to a glass eye. You know, the outcome of the film. You know what happens during the course of the film. It's really sad.
It is a lovely performance. He's really sweet in it, and you really, really warm to him. And as Peter said, they're really horrible to him. So when the twist does come, you're cheering at the end. To be honest, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh yes, most definitely.
Well, there's another one to add to the list then. Tales from the Crypt. I hope it's got that lovely cover. I love that. That's one of the what I'm showing here, of course, is the posters that they would dish out for these, and that is just absolutely fabulous, isn't it, Kirst?
I want the big
man. The cover of the novelization.
There's also a segment in that film with Nigel Patrick, if it's the same film I'm thinking of, and he plays the manager of a home for blind people, and he's a complete bar steward to them. And the twist in his story is really nasty, and it's worth looking at for that one as well. Really good.
Wow.
The razor blades. Oh dear. Yeah. So.
Oh dear. Oh my God.
And his dog.
Yes.
And his dog. I want to say hello to everybody that's joining us in the chat. Actually, thank you very much for joining us. This is our Who's Views Spring Special. Peter Cushing is Doctor Who and other stories, basically. And this is the start of our appreciation of the Dalek films. But we did want to have a look at the star of those films, of course, the legend that is Peter Cushing. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you're enjoying it. John's asking us a question. What's the one where Peter imprisons people in the cellar of his shop? Is that what you're talking about there, or is that a different one?
It doesn't hold them captive or anything. And his shop? No.
Is that a TV episode of Hammer Horror TV show? That one?
It's maybe thinking of the Silent Scream. He's got a pet
Maybe,
shop.
yeah.
Is it maybe that one? It was a
Possibly,
Hammer
yeah.
House of Horror episode. And there's a big twist in that later on, but he's got a pet shop.
Do all of them have this sort of twist thing that's going on here? Are we all going to be sitting through, all as newbies to this, who are being introduced to this, are we going to be sitting here and then be absolutely gobsmacked towards the end?
But the portmanteau films always have like a bit of a kicker at the end. I would say, yeah. Aye. And they're worth it for that.
It's a bit like Tales Unexpected or Twilight Zone. They've got that kind of vibe to it a little bit.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Data's saying that Temptations Limited was the name of the shop. And hello to Tony, who's joined us. Hi all. I'm a huge fan of the Amicus portmanteau. Is that right? Portmanteau movies?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Crimpling to Bloom is joining us. Hello, Shipmite. Apologies for lateness. Have we discussed Peter's appearance on Laurel and Hardy's The Chump at Oxford? Yes, we have. At the top of the show, we mentioned that. We can talk about it again later on if the guys want to. They're taking us, Peter and Paul are taking us through Peter Cushing's parts of his career on this particular show. Ian has a little bit of knowledge there, but Kirsty and I are completely ignorant. And that's brilliant because we are busy writing down a list of what we're going to buy, which is awful.
Kirsty, your shelves must be really kind of heavy, after all the Doctor Who things we've asked you to get as well. My God.
Oh, this is terrible, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, look, and Doug was saying here, Peter was a great sympathetic villain in the Cybernauts episode of The Avengers. Now, that was actually repeated on Great TV just a few weeks ago, and I was gripped by his performance in that as well, because I did see elements of Doctor Who in that, just, a little bit more business-like, but he did bring that sort of eccentricity to this villain that he was playing in The Avengers.
But
and
he's lovely and charming, isn't he, in that, though? He's
suave.
He's suave and chatting up Diana Rigg. It's fantastic, really.
It's brilliant. And I also love the link back to Doctor Who, TV Doctor Who, because he's playing the brother of Michael Gough in the previous Cybernaut episode. And I just thought, isn't 60s British television ace? It's brilliant because they're all there and they're all performing with each other. And it's just wonderful. I love how they were all crisscrossing around and they were all aware of each other. Absolutely fantastic. So thank you everybody for joining us. Jam. That was from an episode of Hammer House of Horror TV series. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's so great. Okay, so there we go. What else we got here? Tony is saying he also likes the Well-Crafted Tales. I love the Torture Garden one with Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, yeah. He's in that with, that's another Amicus one from the late 60s. He's in Peter Cushing's in an episode with Jack Palance. And it's about
there's a combination, isn't it?
Poe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's the man who collected Poe is the name of the episode. And it's about two Edgar Allan Poe enthusiasts. And one of them goes one stage better than the other.
Oh my goodness!
That's
where the horror thing comes out, isn't it?
Don't you think?
Hey,
that title could be so misinterpreted, don't you think?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Just the one Poe suggests other things, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant that everybody's sharing their knowledge with us here. The Amicus portmanteau films were well served by having Robert Bloch contribute scripts, says Blue Worm. Okay, so who was Robert Bloch?
Author of Psycho.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And he was on the... Oh, my goodness, really?
Yeah, a lot of his stories. There's a few in Asylum, a film called Asylum. Peter Cushing's in that as well. Very good film. That's a cracker. That really is. He's in a good episode of that as well. They're all really strong. He wants to... He's got a special fabric.
Oh.
And he wants to bring his son back from the dead. And so he approaches a tailor. The episode is called The Weird Tailor, and he
What more do you
pays a
need?
visit to this tailor and wants to bring his son back from the dead with this suit that is made of this special material. But again, it's got a big surprise ending.
Oh my goodness! Oh my, hang on, just write that down as well.
You may as well write down House that Drip Blood as well.
That's a good
I might
one
as well
as
just
well.
write down everything.
John
Everything.
Burton's in that one as well, so it's worth it for
Yes,
that.
isn't it?
Oh really?
Yeah, it's
Again,
really
this is
good,
great,
yeah.
isn't it? I mean, I did say at the top of the show that he was in the industry for over 6 decades, and this is proven it, isn't it? You know, he did over 100 film appearances, television, stage, radio roles. I mean, you can't do a whole show to give him just that's a whole series in itself, isn't it? For Peter Cushing. Data's asking everybody, did you see Corruption? Cushing like you've never seen him before. Have you guys seen that one?
That's true. Yeah, that's quite a controversial one. That one.
Oh, do tell. We love
I've not seen that
controversy.
one. Do tell, yeah, please.
Yeah, it's actually quite nasty. You will definitely see a different side to Cushing in that one. He's not okay. He's played some villains in the past. Baron Frankenstein's obviously a villain. You can't really say he's a nice guy, but
no,
it's got quite a salacious element to it, that film, and it leaves a bit of a bad taste in the mouth, I feel.
So when was this from? The 70s or
late 67, 68, round about that. Corruption.
Oh right.
Yeah.
So we're looking at
very, very out of character. It's a very kind of nasty piece of work, that film, I would say.
That shows his versatility though, surely.
That's it. So he took it on and did the necessary, but it's not one that I hold in high regard, I would say.
Oh, okay. Is it British?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's got Kato Mara in it.
No.
Put it on the list.
I will.
It's funny. You're saying that Peter Cushing really, generally for the general public, I think, is considered a horror actor, and as we're kind of alluding to now, he's done lots of different things, and people associate him quite a lot of the time with Christopher Lee. But another actor that he's most associated with is Andre Morel, who he did 1984 on TV with. He did Sherlock Holmes as Dr. Watson, and one of my favourite films is Cash on Demand, which is a great movie. If you have not seen that, I recommend it. Great performance from Peter Cushing playing a mild-mannered bank clerk, which is absolutely fabulous.
Tell us a bit more about this.
Well, there's a twist, and this film was made, I think, 59-60. So if you've not seen it now, I suppose spoilers don't really matter, do they? But there is a twist in the story that Andre Morel's actually not what he may seem to be, and Peter Cushing's this bank manager is effectively conned into believing his wife and family been kidnapped, and they've not. But Andre Morel gets his comeuppance in the end, and Kevin Stoney, for Doctor Who fans, Tobias Vaughan and Mavic Chen makes a wee cameo as a policeman at the end, and he's dubbed. He's had his voice dubbed on it, which is very interesting.
How rude.
Yeah, I thought that as well, yeah.
That sounds like a film that they would actually try and get hold of today and reshoot and redo with all the modern stuff, doesn't it, really? So let's hope that Hollywood doesn't discover that. It's interesting, though, because when you were mentioning this one and I found the poster for it, I found out it's a Hammer House film, a Hammer production. So it shows, again, that they were doing certain things, because when everybody says to me now, Hammer Productions, I automatically think Hammer House of Horror, the Draculas, the Frankensteins, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, the fabulous sets, lots of fangs and all that sort. I love it. That's what I think of. But then you came up and told me about this one, Paul, about Cash on Demand. Yeah. And I just thought that's a different horror. That's more psychological rather than all that.
Well, talking about horror, they did on the buses as well. That's another story.
And not just the one.
Three of them. 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
3 of them.
Oh,
how can you get 3 of them? For heaven's sake?
On the buses,
On the buses again.
All on the buses, yeah.
That's it, exactly.
Here comes
They
the
also
bus
made-
again.
They all came along at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what they would do today, wouldn't they?
And
I
one
want to say
one of their biggest hits of the 70s was, believe it or not, On the Buses, the film version of that.
Did
Was
it not
Dracula in that?
film that year?
No.
Well,
no,
Blakey's
it
in it.
wasn't.
He's like Dracula a wee bit. So
Yeah.
True.
Sorry, Ian, what did you say?
I think there was a Bond film out that year, and On the Buses beat that as well. It kicked all opposition.
Yeah, it probably.
Have you live and let die or
was
something? Was it probably? Yeah. So.
I am sure they were absolutely delighted over at Broccoli Towers. I must have loved that. I want to say hello to Mark, who's joining us. Did Cushing ever give his thoughts on the Doctor Who films? He did, didn't he? He loved them, didn't he? He loved doing those. Because we're talking about all these beautiful films here that Paul and Peter telling us about some of their favorite Cushing moments and Cushing films. But did Doctor Who come about because he just wanted something totally different? Because you look at those two films, as we are going to with our reviews coming next week and the week after, but it must have been, for him as this sort of actor, there must have been, I think, hang on a second, this is something different for me. So he must have loved every minute of them.
Oh, he did. He definitely did. But I think, he was selected because he had that kind of transatlantic clout, as it were. And they had a name because obviously Hammer being so big, and that's why Milton Subotsky, wanted to cast him. As Paul mentioned earlier about Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, that was Amicus, Milton Subotsky, and the chemistry between him and Roy Castle, he liked it, and then the rest is history. And that would have got bums and seats, Peter Cushing. That name.
It's interesting you say that, Peter, because I heard the story that apparently when he made 1984 on TV, they made a film version, I think 1 or 2 years later, and Peter Cushing wasn't in that film because he had the same lack of clout that Hartnell had for international sales. So the same thing happened to Hartnell that happened to Cushing, and apparently Peter Cushing wrote to William Hartnell saying around about that time that I know you're not in the film, but this happened to me when they made 1984 and 56. So he's relating the same story to Hartnell, how he felt when he got the part, which I'm not sure if this story has been made up or is actually true, but that's what I heard, that apparently he wrote to Hartnell
I heard that.
around about that time and explained the process and what happened, etc.
Wow. Yeah. See, again, that's the beauty of the industry as it was then. They all would have worked together. They knew each other. They may have even socialized together occasionally as they cross paths, at the gigs and what have you. It's lovely stories, isn't it?
Can you imagine if that letter came to light?
No. Can you imagine? It would blow our minds, wouldn't it?
Would, completely.
Yeah. But they didn't keep letters and stuff in those days, did they?
Unless it's in a private collection of Jessica Carney, who,
Could be, yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah. This is nice for you two here. Tony is saying here, it's lovely to see fellow enthusiasts like Peter and Paul. I'm glad you're appreciating them, because it is, isn't it? It's nice for once just to be able to listen to, other people saying this is what you should watch and have a look at this, and I recommend this, because this horror genre is totally out of my league. I have to say, it's all brand new to me, so it's lovely. And John is saying to us, Peter thought Doctor Who was his favourite. Oh, really? Oh, that's quite nice. Probably because it's something to do with kids, isn't it?
He did say he hated the Daleks, though. He thought they were really irritating, apparently. So,
well, he joined a long line of people that said that, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
And John Pertwee onwards. Oh, thank you for all your lovely comments coming through. Cushing said Blue Worm, he hated the Blood Beast Terror. But Blue Worm actually doesn't mind it at all. So tell her, the Blood Beast Terror.
Yeah, that's one of the Tarkin films from 67, 68. He plays Inspector Quinnell in that one. And it's about his daughter. Sorry, the daughter of an entomologist. who turns into a blood-sucking death's head moth.
As you do.
So yes, so, I mean that says it all. Maybe why Cushing didn't like it, because it is really quite hokey, you know. But it's quite charming in a way, you know. There's something, it's got an appeal to it that is very much of its time, and you know, it's quite one of those kind of cozy comfort British horror films. If you know what I
love
mean.
that. Yeah.
If anybody knows what I mean out there, please say yes.
I love the fact you put cozy and comfort and horror in the same sentence, Peter. That's brilliant.
I know. But then again, I mean, back then they were adult fairy tales. They weren't really.
Yeah.
There wasn't any real badness in them, apart from in corruption. But you know, the majority of them were like sort of quite harmless adult fairy tales. You know, they weren't. They were just good fun, you know, and it was pure escapism.
Yeah, it's like what we touched on earlier. You know, today they could come onto the television at 6 o'clock in the evening on a channel, couldn't they? Really? And now we've got all these wonderful channels. They are, you know, I tend to miss them, but I do notice that some of them are coming on there, especially on Sundays. And you know, there's the various channels. Paul and I have mentioned these various channels before on the show, but you can catch these sorts of things now, and it's just great. And I quite like the idea of the kids today trying to get into these things. I know that some of them are in black and white, and apparently they don't like that, wimps. But just go and, you know, it's nice because it's a proper story, beginning, middle, and end. Lots of thrills. You have to concentrate. You have to follow the story, which for some of the new generations will be difficult, I understand. But they can get, you know, it's a case of being able to say, well, look, you're going to be safe with this now, aren't you? You know.
Yeah,
it shows how far we've come though, because I, like Ian and Peter, got into Hammer and Universal movies in the double bills. And like Peter was saying, my mum would let me really watch the colour ones. I could watch the Universal ones with the Wolfman and Dracula and Frankenstein's monster, but not so much the colour ones, because they were much scarier. I had much more atmosphere, more like to give you nightmares. But now we've come, you know, you can show them in the afternoon. It's bizarre.
Yes, it really is, isn't it?
In fact, it was only a few years ago the Horror Channel was actually showing them during the day, because I managed to catch The Devil Rides Out from Hammer and Plague of the Zombies, you know. And I thought, see, when I think back, I forced myself to sit up to midnight waiting for that film to come on years back. And lo and behold, now it's on 2:30 in the afternoon.
Weird, isn't it?
How times have changed, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned in the chat there about the Marble Snowman movie with Forrest Tucker.
Yeah.
And that's got Wolf Morris in that film as well. He plays the same part in that movie that he plays in the Doctor Who story, the Marble Snowman, as well.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
He's in the House of Red Blood as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He's the museum owner, the wax museum owner, isn't he? I think. Yeah.
That one is already freaking me out. You've mentioned Wax Museum. I'm out. No, that's not going to happen.
You like your tones, GT. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you were little, you know, we went to Madame Tussauds in London. Yeah. You know, that's when the days when the Hammer horror films, you know, as I say, you weren't allowed to watch them because something might actually really, and you were aware. And then they had that crypt thing. Do you remember in the Madame Tussauds, that scary thing with all Crippen and everybody like that? It was just like, ooh, and all those sound. Oh no, thank you, I'm out. Daryl is saying to us, Island of Terror has some lovely green monsters on a spooky, isolated island and great sound effects from Barry Gray, from the Thunderbirds composer and sound effects creator, that gives it some atmospheric Doctor Who vibes. The Island of Terror. Oh, I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, I think that was made by Planet Films, if I'm not mistaken, 1966. So one of those kind of horror sci-fi crossovers, you know. But yeah, it's good fun. Good cheesy fun. Well,
that's what it's brilliant now, isn't it? About some of these things as well, you know, are good cheesy fun, but I think a lot of them still stand up. The ones I've caught, you know, they still stand up today, don't they? And the fact that they're in black and white, a lot of them, I love the black and white things. So the same reason actually I do with the black and white Doctor Who's, because there's things in the shadows.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Hammer made film adaptations of the Quatermass movies. If you've not seen the black and white ones, they are superb.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they're really,
wow.
really
they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
Um,
Brian
I-
Donlevy's Quatermass is questionable, but apart from that,
But I can remember when the first one, the Quatermass Experiment, was on BBC, and I thought I'd had my mum. I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to be able to watch this. But in the Daily Express, they had put a review in and a warning. This film is not for children. That was it. So my mum clocked that, and that was it. Forget it. Deals off.
Damn you, Radio Times.
Bed.
that cost
That was
you.
it. Go to bed with the Beano.
Do you know what, though? Maybe they should be doing that today in the Radio Times and the TV Times and all the TV listings magazines, because it would be on everything. Let's face it, this is political. Do not watch. Do not let your children watch this. Do
If
not
that
watch
were the
this.
case, the Radio Times would be like the telephone director. Would really say, like,
I know, yeah, can you imagine? Do not watch the Star Beast. This is not for children. Pete, this is another one that you sent me here. Tell me about this.
Oh yes, he's really, really, really evil in this film. Twins of evil, and he's a puritanical man who is the leader of a group called the Brotherhood, and they go around burning witches, and they're actually innocent girls.
Oh wow!
And
Okay.
and during that time, there is a vampire on the loose, and then his identical twin nieces come to visit him, and they're quite attracted. Well, one of them is quite attracted by the idea of visiting the local count. He's not a vampire, but he's a bit of a lech, shall we say? And she's heard all these stories about him, and she wants to visit him. And meanwhile, Peter Cushing's going about with his Brotherhood, and they're accusing all these nubile young ladies of witchcraft and burning them at the stake without any conscience. And
Well, this sounds like a riot.
a lot going on in that. And that's
Got a
even
laugh
before
in it,
the
obviously.
vampire business starts.
Oh my goodness. And I have to say, though, he's got a
Vampires,
lovely
yeah.
hat. What a lovely hat that is.
Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. He's
Oh,
not a
really?
nice man. Yeah.
Oh, really?
He's
Oh,
a
really?
very tortured soul.
Well, he must
but
be if
it's
he's
a very
burning everybody.
Oh, he doesn't worry about that, but he's got a lot going on in his head. But it's a very, very compelling performance he gives.
Wow.
Really, really riveting performance. Great. I mean, really, again, another kind of string to his bow, another character, another, something else, that just absolutely blows your mind. Just how he can pull it off.
The premise of that film has just blown my mind. I have to say, there's a hell of a lot going on in that script. Wow. And that's before you get to the vampires.
That's before, and then the vampires come into it.
I'd be exhausted before they even...
Yeah. Got a lot going on.
And when was that made?
71.
Oh, in 70. Oh, very good.
I think the twins in that were real twins, and unlike the twin dilemma, these two could act.
They weren't bad. I mean, they were actually Playboy pin-ups.
Oh,
and that's
So
why they were.
that's why the acting was so good, Ian.
Convinced me.
I bet that was a huge hit then. That must have been a hit, that film.
Huge
wow.
hit.
Yeah, it was a big film. Yeah, it was quite big in its day. I mean, the title is misleading because only one of the twins is actually evil. It's not both of them. But, I don't want to say any more. I'm spoiling it. Highly recommended.
Well, everything's 40, 50, 60 years old, Peter. It should be fine, surely.
I know. Forget. Just don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah, because we're all, if you're not going to be able to buy these, I'm sure they're going to be on one of these wonderful channels that we get now as well, won't we? We're going to be able to find these. I am absolutely sure. Yeah.
If
At
they're
this
not
point,
edited, of course.
if not edited, yeah. At this point, I just want to share some of Daryl Joyce's artwork, if I may. And I want to say a huge Daryl again, because as I say, there's some of his art that was in the title sequence for this particular show. I also used them in the background to the thumbnail for the show, which is here. But Daryl, I want to say a huge thank you again for actually letting us share some of the artwork here. And I'm going to say at this particular point that if you're interested in getting some of these, they are available. And you can actually find and follow Daryl on Daryl Joyce -original art prints on Facebook. We'll put all the links into the comments as well for you. But Daryl Joyce -original art prints. But have a look at some of these. Pete, you're going to love these as well. I mean, Daryl is a regular Who viewer and a friend of ours, and he's so talented. We absolutely love him. But check this out.
Oh yeah, I have seen these. These are to die for. I mean,
aren't they
glorious? Yeah. They're stunning.
Unbelievably talented, Daryl.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I'd forgotten Freddie Jones was the monster in Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. That's fabulous.
Yeah, it's a great.
He played a lot of monsters as well, didn't he? That one, but there's that. I mean, these. I mean, when we talk about film posters,
wow,
fantastic.
Oh, it's absolutely immaculate. Immaculate.
Just capture the mood, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
I love Christopher Lee's monster makeup. It's so different from Karloff, isn't it?
Yeah. That surprised me actually when I first saw it when I was a wee boy. I was expecting to see Frankenstein with the bolts and the big square head and stuff, you know.
Whereas because that was our Frankenstein, wasn't it, when we were kids?
Well, I had monster figures as a kid, little action figures. Dracula, the Mummy, and the monster.
Yeah. Well, when you look at that particular Frankenstein now, he even turned up in Scooby-Doo in the 70s. Do you remember? So it was, and the monsters. So it was getting a little bit comical, wasn't it? Really. So when they start bringing those things back, they really go to town on them now. But here's another couple.
Daryl, you legend.
Oh, there's that Island of Terror. Horror Express. They're beautiful. They are absolutely.
That's the one you mentioned. Telly Savalas there.
I love that film.
Yes.
Isn't that absolutely? I mean, they managed to capture the whole genre. These. I mean, Daryl is so talented. Look at these, aren't they beautiful?
Absolutely breathtaking. So
they make fantastic book covers or DVD covers. They're amazing.
But even more so, you can actually picture these things outside cinemas, can't you?
Yeah.
As well as the DVDs and the Blu-rays. I've said it before. Daryl should be on Blu-rays commercially and all this sort of stuff. Look at these.
Oh wow! No way.
Yeah.
Oh, the Creeping Flesh is a cracking film. I recommend that if you've not seen it. That's great.
Yeah, that's really good. Yep. Oh, the last
Lee with him here.
Who's that? Sorry.
Christopher Lee's with him here. This is just some of the examples of the films together.
Yeah.
Just stunning, aren't they?
And that's absolutely mind blowing.
It really is. And then they've got this one, which I think was also mentioned earlier in the show.
Of course, yeah.
Oh gosh! Wow.
And that's the gentleman in the fez. Is that George Pastel who's in Tomb of the Cybermen as well? There we are.
That is.
Oh yeah, I recognise him from that.
Yeah.
Just
and Christopher Lee plays the mummy in this, doesn't he, Peter? Isn't that right?
Christopher Lee, Caris, yeah.
So he's done the mummy, he's done Dracula and the monster. So he's really covered quite a lot.
Yeah. Really, quite a frightening mummy. Actually, I never really found mummies. Mummies didn't really bother me too much, but in that film, he's quite a frightening mummy. Actually, Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The appreciation for Daryl is coming in. Thank you very much. Again, Daryl, thank you so much. We really appreciate them. Just absolutely fantastic. Love the mummy poster, says Lex. I don't want to watch that Dracula now. It's too scary. John is saying fantastic art. Here. We all say that. Tony, Daryl is a very gifted man. He certainly is, isn't he? And Peter's saying to us, the colours are superb. And capture that whole sort of Hammer House thing that comes to mind there, because I always imagine them being green, orange, yellow. I don't know why, but it does. Lex is saying to us, in Island of Terror, is that the one where Peter Cushing loses his hand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler. Thanks. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, sorry. Okay, no. Take that back.
Too late now, isn't it?
Oh no, that was another film. No.
Can we cut that bit out?
Actually, that was cut out of some prints. When it was released.
That wouldn't surprise me, Peter. Yeah.
Why? Because it was very, very gruesome.
It's quite good. There was some gruesome bits in it. Yeah, I mean, not bad, not awful, but it was enough to upset somebody.
Oh, good. That's what we need. We need more upsets like that. We need a bit of.
There's lots of hands being chopped off in Cushing films. I think there's one in Dr. Terror's House of Horror as well. Isn't Christopher Lee an art critic or something? And does Michael Goff get run over by him or something? And he loses his hand. And all the hand of fear stuff going on. It's on his shoulder and all that kind of stuff. It's great.
Yeah,
that's right. Daryl Michael Goff over.
Yeah,
Daryl's here saying to us, "Cheers, chaps. The Island of Terror piece is on the Blu-ray releases in the US and Germany."
Yeah, I think it's uncut in Germany. I think that's what it is. There's one version that's got more in it, slightly. I mean, seconds we're talking, but I mean, they're so atmospheric. That art.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
The hues, the colours, the lighting of it, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. The way
he's so clever, isn't he, Daryl? He's absolutely so talented.
What's really good as well, you really capture the likenesses of the actors as well. They're really good. They're almost like photographs. They're amazing.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said for Daryl's style of art today, because when you look at film posters today, meh.
I know.
Nah. You don't come out the cinema anymore asking one of the guys at the cinema, "Can I have that poster when you're done with it?" Do you? Not really. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all mishmashy. Art like that, I'd be queuing to say, "Listen, can I have that poster, please, from The Curse of Frankenstein, so I can put it on my wall?" Daryl, again, thank you so much. We really, really do appreciate that. And we're going to be showing a couple more of Daryl's next week for Doctor Who and the Daleks, and of course for Dalek Invasion of Earth the week after. You can actually already see them on our thumbnail because he's been very, very gracious and let us use them.
They're great, fantastic stuff.
Yeah,
buy his book.
Oh yes, yeah, of course he's got the book out, haven't you? You can get his book, The Illustrated Journey, which is over there on my shelf. You can get it from telos.co.uk, and that's the Doctor Who book. Telos.co.uk, and Garbage is very, very well. Look at it. There we go. That's in the link for you all there as well. Superb. I want to get on to the bit that where Kirsty and I really, really get into this, because apart from Doctor Who, now I obviously was introduced to Peter Cushing, guys, thanks to Doctor Who and the Daleks and Daleks Invasion Earth 2150, and I remember the joy with my dad saying, "You're going to love this guy. He's really good, but he's not the Doctor you know." And that's where the confusion started to set in. I'm thinking, why? Which one's this? But it was brilliant, because when you watch it, we'll talk more about this, of course, when we get it. It was the nearest we were going to get to 1960s Doctor Who at that point, wasn't it? So you can sort of imagine what it would have been like on the television. But thanks to Peter Cushing, I recognized him immediately in this little thing. You may have heard of this. It hasn't really gone anywhere.
So what was it called?
I'm not sure.
It's a wee movie. You might have heard of it.
I think
Star Wars. I can't make that out probably.
I think he had some sort of success in this film as well with this geezer. And look who there! Look at that! There's Gavrock there on the left. Everybody, look at that! From Delta and the Bannermen.
Gavrock's got incredibly nasty friends, hasn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Ian, what were you saying there?
And the Minotaur in the middle.
Yeah. Or as our generation will also know him, the Green Cross Code Man. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin. Let's get to talk about him now as well, because he's been mentioned a few times in the chat with you all as well, isn't it? Again, totally different for him. I mean, here he was playing this baddie, one film out of all of them, but made such an impression, a lasting impression, because he's known for Star Wars, the original Star Wars, the 1977 and 78 Star Wars. He's known for that, isn't he? But I'm sitting there as a wee boy, and I remember first seeing him on the screen and going, "It's Doctor Who." It was a moment I can't express. Honestly, Kirsty, I can't tell you. And then I forgot about Doctor Who immediately because I was thinking, I really don't like this guy. And who's the guy in the armor? Because it was all new to us back then.
I'm the other way round now, watching Doctor Who and the Daleks. It was nice to see him be jolly and look like he was having the time of his life in a softer role. Because I grabbed Moff Tarkin, yeah, for me, instantly, I think just like cold and calculated. And he's iconic. But yeah, for me, instead of you're like, oh, it's the Doctor, I'm like, oh, it's Grand Moff Tarkin having a nice time in the TARDIS. It's very nice.
It's like, don't trust him, Susan.
It must have been a culture shock for him, though, Pete, as well, because, you know, his only, am I right in saying that his only, up to that point, his only brush with sci-fi was Doctor Who and the Daleks and Daleks Invasion of the Earth 2150 AD, which are not really, it's not science fiction, really, is it? It's great fun. But, you know, now suddenly he comes into this Star Wars thing, and that must have been a bit of a culture shock for him, because the way it was just made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. But I mean, with a name like that too, it was quite interesting the fact that Dave Prowse was in that film, because the two of them were together in another Hammer Frankenstein called Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell, and Dave Prowse played the creature in that, and Cushing was Baron Frankenstein. So, and then that film reunited them, which was good. But yeah, it was.
You've probably heard the story about Peter Cushing on set for Star Wars. He didn't have, he couldn't wear the kind of boots he had for Grand Moff Tarkin's outfit, and apparently he wore carpet slippers. So any shots above his kind of torso, you can't see his legs. So he wore carpet slippers to be comfortable. What a gentleman!
Yeah. Somebody was mentioning that in the chat, and I can't find it. But yeah, he wore his carpet slippers. How wonderful!
Brilliant. Yeah. The other story about he was a heavy smoker, and apparently used to wear a white glove whilst he was smoking, so he didn't get nicotine on his fingertips. What brilliant!
Exactly. Now, I mean, that's somebody that takes their craft seriously.
Yeah,
and he did that. He always did that, even like sort of in the early days. I know that he was, I think it was for Hound of the Baskervilles actually. He wanted to hold, he wanted to be able to hold the violin properly, and he went to a music teacher to show him how to hold it. But because he wanted it, he wanted that authenticity to come across. And also when he was doing The Mummy, I think he spent some time in hospital watching operations, just to be not to be bandaged up or anything like that, but because he never played The Mummy, but just to be in that environment, So he took his craft very seriously indeed.
Yeah. Well, they did back then, didn't they? Absolute class act there. To how will I be perceived? How will the public do this? I was showing up there that quote from Doug there. Did Peter get a similar deal to Alec Guinness in Star Wars? Due to the success of Star Wars profit share, Guinness did very, very well. Now that's great. But no, he didn't, did he? Peter Cushing didn't get that same deal. He just did it, didn't he? He just turned up, got the contract, took the money, which wasn't that much, I believe, and went home, just like a jobbing actor did back then. Alec Guinness was a little bit more, hang on, there might be something in this. Even though, of course, we all know he wasn't a big fan, was he, really, of the work he was doing?
A friend of mine met Alec Guinness in London. I think, between the Star Wars movies in the 80s, and he took along, remember that big comic you could get of the movie of Star Wars, and he took it along to get it signed by him, and Alec Guinness looked at him and sort of signed it begrudgingly, gave it back, and then carried on. It was just like he wasn't happy at all, apparently. So.
Yeah. Just to say, Atom has just left the chat with Dow. Just want to say to him, thinking of you, big up. Hope everything's all right, and keep in touch. Blue Worm is sharing his first Hammer memory. He's 9 years old and stayed up late to watch Dracula Has Risen from the Grave on telly. Dad stayed up and watched it with me. Oh, isn't that lovely?
That was my first as well. That was my first. That was the first one that I saw all the way through. Because Curse of Frankenstein, I can't count it because I was only allowed to watch so much. And then that was it, time for bed. But at that point, Dracula Has Risen, I think it was about 11. And I thought, you can handle it. Yeah, I'll do it. I was terrified. I was shaking in my boots or my slippers. And I can remember watching it, and it was the best time ever. I loved it.
My first Hammer movie was Dracula, Prince of Darkness, but Cushing's not in that one, sadly. But
no, but that's a great film.
A very good film, yeah.
So am I right in saying, guys, that the Hammer Productions had a rep of actors that they would call similar, like what they did with the Carry-Ons, basically, as well? You know,
a wee family, I suppose. Yeah.
Michael Ripper, watch out for him. He's in almost every Hammer film.
I don't like that name associated with this at all. That is irony, isn't it?
Oh no, he's lovely.
Grummage as well. He appears in Russell Grummage quite a lot. He's a really
I know, but
actor.
That name was meant to work with Hammer Horror Productions, didn't it?
But honestly, he's always like a landlord, or the innkeeper, or some kind of role like that.
How fabulous!
What a great character actor.
Lovely, yeah.
I like this comment that Peter's put in there when we were talking about that particular film earlier before. My mum sent me to bed because of the boobs. I remember not the horror.
Well, you'd be quite embarrassed when you were younger if the Sweeney was on and something like that appeared on the TV. You had to pick up the Radio Times and not kind of watch it.
I think quite a few of those Hammer horrors did have a bit of a reputation for doing, certainly where the ladies were concerned, absolute full frontals. I don't think they held back on that. So I think if they're being shown now in the afternoons, that bit's probably edited out, maybe.
Or be pixelated or something like that,
yeah. That's probably why you would never see Twins of Evil on in the afternoon.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't mind showing like sort of blood sacrifices in the middle of the day, but anything like that would be a no-no. And
Countess Dracula
that was always my worry. What's that, Paul?
Countess Dracula with Ingrid Pitt. They wouldn't show that every afternoon either.
Yeah. See, that was a worry for me because I desperately wanted to see the horror film as a child because that was the big kick for me. But my mum would always act as the censor for the nudity. And that was the thing with Hammer. I thought, oh no, here we go again. I'll need to watch in case there's any boobs out, because then I'll be straight to bed and then I'll not get to see the film. And that happened. That did happen.
How did you find out though? How did you do research?
The House of Hammer magazine. So when I consulted that, I used to do that in advance. See, I was quite crafty that way.
Did they have a boobs rating in the magazine? How did that work?
Well, more or less, I'd got a kind of good idea from the magazine what was coming up.
Right.
And I thought, right, well, will I get sent to bed with this one? Oh, that I will. But I remember I managed to pull a fast one, so to speak, when I went to bed one night with the black and white portable, because I wanted to see The Vampire Lovers, and I knew that was involving lesbian vampires, and my mum, there'd be lots of nudity going on there, and I thought there's no chance that I'm going to get away with this, so I'll need to go and watch it in my bedroom on the black and white portable. And my mum couldn't understand, why don't you want to watch it on the colour in the living room? And I said, Mum, I'm a bit tired. I think I might fall asleep. I'm just going to watch this a wee bit. 12.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. And my mum stood at the door. I was lying in bed watching this at the beginning. My mum was standing at the door, arms folded, going, but why are you watching this in bed? And I went, honestly, Mum, I'm quite tired. I'll probably nod off, and I saw the whole film. Yeah.
Oh, I hate to think what it did to you. We need to talk about this as well, this particular one, because Lex has put it into the chat as well. One of the best Sherlock Holmeses of the 20th century. Now, this is something, again, I think a lot of people do forget, the fact that he did play Sherlock Holmes. And I have to say, he was brilliant. I remember seeing this again on, I think it was BBC Two on a Friday night, around about 1981-ish time, somewhere around about that. And I couldn't quite believe that here again was, you know, this guy coming along. And it took me a while to realize where I knew it from, to be honest.
And it was Star Wars, was it?
I was either Doctor Who and the Daleks or Star Wars. But he was so magical in the role of Sherlock Holmes. He's quite not prissy, so he's quite clipped.
Oh yeah.
How many Sherlock Holmes did he do?
He did one film, but he did TV versions with Nigel Stock as Dr. Watson. That's Professor Hater from Time Flight, if you don't know. And yeah, so he did do it on TV, but only once on film.
Wow,
I think that's right, isn't it, Peter?
Yeah, that's right. The BBC, wasn't it? The
BBC, yeah, in the mid '68 or thereabouts, I think it was.
So is this after Basil Rathbone?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Okay.
Basil Rathbone was sort of the 40s, 50s kind of thing.
39 or something.
They're all black and whites, weren't they?
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing to think that though, because one film only. They could have made an entire series again with him, couldn't they?
What's sad actually in the story of Hound of the Baskervilles, Holmes isn't in it very much.
No, that's true.
He's not got much screen time in it, which is a real shame until towards the end. It's more about Watson and Christopher Lee's character, Sir Hugo Baskerville and stuff, and all the bits on the moors and things. But it's a shame he's not in it more. But,
yeah. Well, that's why they could have made the whole series. Yeah. With a bankable star, like you were saying earlier about Peter Cushing, they could. It's a shame they didn't do that. I want to say hello and welcome to Clive of England, who says he was lucky enough to meet Peter C. in Whitstable just before his death and have a quiet chat, mostly about the birds. Absolute gent and charming with it. How fabulous!
That's lovely. That's lovely.
Wow, how lucky were you, Clive of England? Lovely to see you. Welcome to Who's Views. Oh man, I would have. Wow, to have met Peter Cushing. Wow.
Oh, I would have went to pieces.
Well, yeah, because they didn't do those sort of conventions or stuff really back in the day when he was really actively working. It was just starting to come in the 70s, wasn't it, really? And by then he would have been too busy working as well to go to anything. I mean, I know that I have a friend who's a massive Star Wars fan, and that's the one a lot of the original Star Wars fans, you know, of my age will go, we never got Cushing. I mean, we can relate to that as Doctor Who, isn't it? Because we can say, "Oh, we never got Hartnell," or we never got this," you know. But that's their sort of again, Hartnell, Cushing. Wow, bless giants of the time, I guess. Yeah, but no, nice to see you, Clive, and thanks for sharing that. How lucky are you? What a special story!
So lucky.
We always wanted him to come and open our school sports day with. Obviously the family link with our headmaster, but he never did. It's a shame, especially after Star Wars, because Star Wars obviously was, you know.
Well, yeah. I love the fact that with Star Wars, he was brought to a whole new generation again. And we talk about how these things can happen, but it worked, didn't it? There you go. He's in the one film, though. That's what always gets me about it. He's in the one film. And yet
that's not strictly true. That's not strictly true. He does make a couple of cameos later when he was dead.
Well, we're not going to talk about that. Because I know some of the proper Cushing fans, God love them, don't like that, and I get that because I'd be the same if they did something like that with William Hartnell or Patrick Troughton. I don't think I'd like it really. Yeah. You know, once they're gone, they're gone. Yeah,
I remember watching Rogue One. I went to see a friend of mine, who's a big Doctor Who fan, a Star Wars fan as well. And when he appears in Rogue One, I went, "It's Doctor Who." He said, "Shh." So that was a laugh in the cinema. So that's funny. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's the brilliant thing about it, though, isn't it? I mean, it's just fantastic. And as I say, with Star Wars, he was brought to another generation. The impact is still felt. They have to keep bringing out that character again. They did it in Episode 3 of Star Wars. They did it in Rogue One. That was a bit bizarre. I mean, even now when
go on.
Sorry?
He's in the animated Clone Wars as well, but it's not his voice.
No, well, it wouldn't be, would it? No. But again, it shows the impact and the brilliance of Peter Cushing as an actor, because he's in those scenes and he just plays it beautifully. Even entering the room, it's just so powerful. He gets the character. I'm the big chief.
Great sense of presence. Yeah. Real screen presence.
Yeah.
And that's in everything
Those, those cheekbones are amazing that he's got in Star Wars, particularly.
Yeah, yeah.
I like where in Star Wars he's got the Death Star right where Alderaan is, Leia's home, and he's getting her to tell him where the rebel base is, and she cracks. I mean, she gives him a false story, but she cracks, and then he just says, "Proceed with the blowing up of Alderaan." Anyway, that way he just turns on her is just
cold and calculated in a
oh,
moment.
absolutely,
yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Bang.
Exactly.
What's brilliant as well, the fact he controls Vader in the film as well. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. That bit when he's strangling the other member of the panel, and then he gets release him, Vader, and it's fantastic. He's the villain, not Darth Vader. He's fantastic.
I would love to ask George Lucas, do you regret killing him off, or was it part of the bigger plan? It probably wasn't, because Cushing, up until the Emperor comes along, is the only character that is not afraid of Darth Vader. They've got history from the very beginning, and I love the way Cushing gets it, and it shows a difference here as well, because we know some of the history of Star Wars. Cushing gets it. Alec Guinness, God love him, didn't. Cushing understands what he's been given here on the paper. I know this guy, and this is how I'm playing it. Whereas apparently Alec Guinness, and correct me if I'm wrong, Star Wars fans, but Alec Guinness apparently was like, so what's my motivation? What's this about? And he wasn't fully into it. Whereas Peter Cushing just goes, whoosh, gotcha. I just love it. The performance is so brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. That is,
you should do.
It really does.
It's cold as ice.
It just becomes.
Yeah. And that bit you're talking about, Ian, as well, where he's with Carrie Fisher. Yeah, I mean that twist on the Carrie, gotcha, yeah, bitch. And I'm going to kill you after as well. Yeah,
lovely.
Whoa, yeah. Crippling to Bloom is sharing with.
So, like we said all along, he's a very versatile actor, and he's great at doing villains and doing heroes, and also fantastic at comedy as well, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yes, and we're going to come to that just in a second, because Crimpling is sharing with us that he's also met Peter Cushing at a book signing, and he shook my hand.
Oh,
isn't that just? I can't. Wow, that is just absolutely stunning. That you guys were so lucky to meet this legend. I'm so jealous, actually. Absolutely. So you mentioned there as well, Paul, the fact that Cushing showed some of his funny side, his comedic talent. We mentioned Laurel and Hardy earlier on, didn't we? But there was a famous one that you wanted me to put out here. Now, I remember this, and it all came back to me when you started talking about it when we were preparing the show the other day. But I do remember this running gag. And of course, it's the one where he's in Morecambe and Wise. Yeah. And he did... Go on, explain the story. Explain the story about how this became a running gag through their career.
Well, as most people probably know, Morecambe and Wise used to relish and did it beautifully. They'd poke fun at celebrity actors and singers and things like that, and they'd appear on their shows. And Peter Cushing was on quite a few shows. And the first one was about 1968, when it was on BBC Two, and he played, I think, King Arthur. That was the first. That's him there in the outfits King Arthur there. And for some reason, I can't remember why Eric's dressed like Sherlock Holmes. Is not because he was Sherlock Holmes, but it's a wonderful gag that they play through the entire series of him not being paid, and he doesn't never get paid, and it goes on and on. It goes on from 68 till about 83 or something like that. When they went to ITV, and I think in the final Christmas show they did on ITV. I think the carol singer's outside his door, and he steals the carol singer money box, and then comes in, I've been paid, and then runs off. It's fantastic. It's really funny. Finally, I've been paid. Yeah, great stuff. Lovely.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's brilliant, that, isn't it? Because we need to explain that. Morecambe and Wise, for those of you outside the UK, if you're not aware of who they are, shame on you. But they were giants in British comedy, and they had this show, as Paul was saying, that ran from both the BBC and the commercial channel ITV for forever, and we all grew up with them. They were part of Saturday Night Giants as well, and it was just. But the fact is, they were sort of. Yeah, they were absolutely staples, but they were sort of playing prestigious of themselves as well. So Morecambe, who's the one in the glasses, was the big comic genius, you know,
Oh,
but he was always there. And his little friend there, Ernie, who was also a comic genius, but the character that he would play was a version of himself that was, he was just didn't like spending any money, and everything was done on a shoestring. Didn't like spending. So when it comes to paying Peter Cushing, that was a brilliant gag all around, wasn't it? So clever. And to have Mr. Cushing coming back for all those years, and he would turn up once or twice every series they did.
Yeah, it was great, fantastic.
Just
for younger viewers, they're like Ant and Dec, only funny.
Funny
well,
and
well said. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
no,
That's a good way of putting it.
Sorry, allegedly, I have to say that.
No, you're right. You're right.
Oh, let's have a look. What else did they say? Let's have a look. Yeah. Now Lex is giving us one of the famous Star Wars quotes: "Charming to the last." That beautiful way, that British, especially the English way of saying that, absolutely superb. Not phased at all. Not played it. He got that character down to I'm gonna have to watch it after this to tell you. Now, Paul, there was something else that you wanted to talk about as well, wasn't there? Which is a beautiful story. Tell us the lovely story. Some of you are mentioning this in the chat already. Well,
Peter Cushing was married to a lady called Helen. That was his wife, and they were together quite a long time until she sadly died in the early 70s. And round about that time, for a long time, Peter was mourning the loss of his wife, understandably, for a very long time. And then once, around about 1980, 82, I think it might have been, he wrote to a TV show we're all familiar with, which is unfortunately fallen from favour, called Jibble Fix It. So
not unfortunately, fortunately, really.
Unfortunately, yes. So he wrote to this programme, and Jibble Fix, as you may not or may not know, was a show that you could write into the BBC and get a wish granted to meet a celebrity or get something done, or maybe go on a roller coaster as a scout and eat and drink stuff on a roller coaster or whatever you did. But Peter Cushing wrote to Jibble Fix It to try and get a rose named after his wife Helen, so she could be remembered after he'd passed away, which was a beautiful story. And just telling you now, I'm filling up thinking about it. It's a very, very sad story. And he loved her so much, he decided to try, if he can, get Jim Fix It to have a rose named after, which is a lovely, lovely story.
And it's amazing, really, because the BBC, of course, who produced the show, did. And we've actually got a picture here of not just the rose itself, but Peter and Helen Cushing. And it's such a romantic story, isn't it? What a gentleman. Because apparently his wife's passing crushed him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was never the same.
No. And I mean, a lot of friends and family would say that about him, according to this. And thank you very much to the Peter Cushing Appreciation Society for this wonderful picture. Absolutely gorgeous. And there's the rose itself. And what a beautiful, delicate pink it is. Absolutely stunning. Isn't that lovely?
It is, really is. Yeah.
If it's cutting onions, will you stop? Because
I know.
It's a really, really sad story, but beautiful as well.
Yeah. And Clive of England is saying here, Peter was so crushed by his wife Helen's death that he told friends he'd run up and down his stairs hoping he'd have a heart attack and join her.
Yep.
My God.
Right. Yeah.
Some people thought as well when he was on filming, he looked quite gaunt. He wasn't eating at all. I think he did want to end it all, but he was quite a religious man, wasn't he? He was a Christian, so he didn't want to do that kind of thing. So he tried to starve himself or have a heart attack so he could be with Helen sooner, which is really sad.
Oh.
And he was already quite thin, but his cheekbones were accentuated even further as a result of that. So.
Oh well, I don't want to end the show on a low. So I want, from Paul and Pete, I want your favourite Peter Cushing film, please. What would you recommend that we start off when we're looking at, for those people like myself and Kirsty that don't know the films? Where do we start when it comes to the Peter Cushing immense back catalogue, the massive back catalogue? What would you recommend, Pete, first, please?
It's just that he brings something different to each role. So it's so difficult because each one has to be taken on its own merit and appreciated by the character portrayal. But for me, for my money, I think he's most winning standout performance that actually made me responsive was Tales from the Crypt, Arthur Grimsdyke, for which I do think he had a special award. I think he was given some award for it.
Right.
Can't remember off the top of my head which one, but I know he was recognised for it anyway, because it's such a touching performance, and you'll see what I mean when you watch it. It'll just do a number. I'll do a number on you.
And what about you, Paul?
Well, I've mentioned already Cash on Demand, the film with Andre Morel, because they work brilliantly together. Like you say, they were in Sherlock Holmes, he was Watson. They're great together in Cash on Demand. Lovely performances from both of them, particularly Peter Cushing. But as an addendum, you have to watch At the Earth's Core as well, the third Doctor Who movie that never was.
This is weird, actually, because I do actually have that one. And the reason I bought that on DVD, is because everybody was saying to me, oh, this would have been the third Doctor Who film. I can't see it at all, apart from it being by the same people, really. And its performance sort of being Doctor Who. I don't see I actually found it quite boring, you know, and I just thought, hang on a second, really? No, I wouldn't have wanted this as the third Doctor Who film. Where are the Daleks? What are these ant things?
I just mean he's like playing Doctor Who in it, really. That's why.
Is that what they're telling me about? Okay, I'll let you
think, yeah.
It's very much, because was it Dr. Abner Perry or something? I think he's
something like that.
Something like that. But he's got that kind of doddery kind of look about him, you know, that kind of behaviour. That a lot.
He's got that voice
like Doctor Who, but he's got that slightly bandy walk that he has. It's fantastic.
And he's got that sort of voice, because his voice when he's playing Doctor Who and that character is lighter than anything else I've seen him in. It's sort of you know, it lifts, you know, as though he's playing the eccentric scientist. Again, brilliant
like
actor.
Kind of thing, Mm-hmm. It's like Magnus Pike almost, you know, it's like
yeah. Well, there's a name, kids. If you don't know that, Kirsty, you're going to
have to Google it. Really showing my age now.
Along with Rula Lenska. Okay, have you done that? Have you? Okay.
He invented the spark plug, did
She's never living that one down, everybody. I want to say hello to Al, who was joining us there as well. Welcome to Who's Views. It's nice to see you. Thank you, everybody, for that. Actually has joined us. Tony is saying that for him, it's going to be From Beyond the Grave. So he's recommending that to us. Oh, and then he's also saying, Tales from the Crypt as Arthur Grimsdyke.
I love. It's unfortunate the Grimsdyke. I think of Normal Wisdom when I hear that name. It's bizarre. Yeah,
Mr. Grimsdale. Oh well, listen, everybody. This has been our sort of introduction and to our series about the Peter Cushing Dalek films, and I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed this very casual appreciation of Mr. Cushing. We can't really do him justice in the time we have. I mean, it's a whole series in itself, but thank you for Paul and thank you for Peter for pointing out some of their favorite moments here as we go into this. So indeed, what is coming next on Who's Views? Here we go then. So yes, we are going to be reviewing Doctor Who and the Daleks and Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD. A lot of fans tend to forget about these, but here on Who's Views, we're not going to, because in my opinion, and more of this next week, this is 1960s groovy fabulousness. And they have their place in Doctor Who as the Dalek films. Also coming up, as it says there, another in our series, The Sound of Whozik, where Michael and I attempt to actually try and describe our favourite bits of the soundtracks to the two films. Don't miss that one, because it's really difficult.
I'm looking forward to that one, definitely.
Yeah. We can't play any of it. So we were trying to describe it. We're like, well, this is like groovy, man, yeah. But that's all coming for you. Next Saturday, we start with our review of Doctor Who and the Daleks. So please come and join us. It's an excuse to go back and watch these two fantastic, glorious, big, bold, colourful films, isn't it? And then come and join in the chat as we start looking at these. So Doctor Who and the Daleks next week, and the week after, Daleks Invasion of the Earth 2150, and then The Sound of Whozik at that weekend as well. Listen, Pete, thank you for joining us on the Whotastic panel tonight.
Thank you. No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Anytime at all. And of course, I want to say to Paul, to Third Doctor Ian, and to Kirsty, hope you've enjoyed the show. Something a little bit more casual and laid back and a little bit different for us, eh?
Yeah, it's
Really
absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing.
I learned a lot as well. Learned a lot.
I've got a bloody great big list here, and it's just not on. Just ridiculous.
You'll
Thank
love
you.
every minute of it. You will.
I do, and I'm going to enjoy looking at it all. Oh, and I just have to tell you as well, don't forget that as part of reviews, we will be doing scores on the TARDIS doors for these films as well.
Oh, good stuff.
And we have to celebrate them because it's Doctor Who hasn't got to the cinema since 1960 something with 2150 AD. So universe, my big hairy bottom. Right, let's have a look and see who's in the chat. Clive of England is saying that Pete Harrington, 102 films and 95 of them are okay. So that's in answer to some of the people saying that. Tony, thank you so much, saying absolutely fabulous show. Thank you very much. John, pleasure to see you. Great to have you here. Cheers, chaps. That was a great. Peter's also saying fantastic. Oh, and Daryl, good to look back on this great man. It really is. And again to you, sir, thank you so much for allowing us to use all your fabulous illustrations. Really chuffed. Great show tonight, says Lex. Yeah, absolutely. And yes, before I forget, I've got one other piece of artwork as well for you that I'm going to end up with before we disappear, if I may. And this is from Blue Worm, who's in the chat with us.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Lovely.
Amazing.
Yeah, isn't that fab? So
Amazing.
Thank you again for that one. And yeah, please subscribe and stay tuned to the channel. Ring that bell because we've got a chit chat with Blue Worm coming up very soon where we talk more about his art. So watch out for that. Right, so I think that's us, isn't it? So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It's absolutely wonderful. Oh, Gemma is saying, Gemma, thank you for joining us. I've got a list of things to be watching now as well. I'm so sorry. We may have cost everybody money. Oh, absolutely wonderful. But thank you all for joining us. Absolutely wonderful. Just to let you know, we will be back tomorrow night, if you're interested, for headlines here on the channel, 7:30. So we'll be here with that, with all your latest headlines. So that's our discussion show. If you're new to the channel, come and join us for that. But grab a helmet. Again, Pete, thanks for joining us. Thanks to the Whotastic panel for that as well.
Thank you. Thanks.
We will be seeing you again very soon. Please don't forget to like the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And we will see you all very, very soon. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.